Since Hollywood has an obsession with sequels and remakes, I thought maybe I would talk about some of the sequels, remakes, and adaptations that I would like to see from Hollywood in the near future. So, a lot of the franchises that get a sequel or a long existence in Hollywood are ones that are the most successful at the box office. One great example is the Star Wars franchise. We literally got a new trilogy because of the success of Star Wars in the past. I mean, Star Wars The Force Awakens brought in over $2 billion. So that just proves how much staying power that Star Wars has. When it comes to remakes, Disney seems to love doing remakes. One example is the Lion King remake. And that just proves that remakes and sequels have a lot of power when it comes to the box office. And that is why Hollywood is more comfortable with releasing sequels and remakes rather than original films. So, what kind of adaptations, sequels, and remakes would I like to see from Hollywood in the future? Well, one sequel that I would like to see is A Bug's Life 2. Now, just like with Pixar's original run of films, A Bug's Life is very iconic when it comes to animated films. A Bug's Life was the second Pixar movie, and in my opinion is one of the most underrated. One of the things that Finding Dory did so well was capturing what the first film brought us, that feeling of being underwater. I would say that a sequel to A Bug's Life would capture that same magic, being in the world of a bug's point of view. That is a world that I would really like to come back to, and I would really like to see that world in better animation, and just imagine how breathtaking it would be if Pixar made A Bug's Life with today's animation. It would look mind-blowing. Another sequel that I would really like to see from Hollywood is Over the Hedge 2, another criminally underrated film. It didn't do that well when it came out in 2006, and it didn't do that well critically, not enough to win an Oscar and even get nominated, and not enough to make a sequel. Now, there is technically a sequel to the movie in the form of the video game, but I still think that we need a proper sequel and potential threequel. I still think that there's a lot of creativity to be found in this world, and these characters could get developed further. We could continue to go on adventures with these characters and get to know more about them. Also, speaking of DreamWorks sequels, Shark Tale 2 is another film that I would really like to see. Just like Over the Hedge, there's a lot of creativity that could be developed and found in a Shark Tale sequel. We could learn more about the Fish Society. Maybe humans could be the antagonists. And I have a good idea. What if the humans that were the antagonists in Shark Tale 2 were actually the same humans that killed Frankie with an anchor? That would have a connection to the first film, and Lenny could get some character development. As for remakes, one remake that I would really like to see is an Atlantis remake. With Disney cranking out so many remakes to classics like Beauty and the Beast, Lion King, and Aladdin, Disney could easily do a remake to Atlantis. It would be really cool to see all the vehicles from Atlantis in live action form, and they could potentially improve on the original's problems. Another remake that they could make, and I've seen this one tossed around, is a Brother Bear remake. Like Atlantis, Brother Bear has a lot of problems that could be improved upon in a remake. And they could potentially make it look really good. See, Disney should make movies that improve upon the original's problems rather than recreating masterpieces. So as for adaptations, what I mean by adaptations is not adaptation of a book, although there are some I would like to see adapted. The Chronicles of Narnia, The Magician's Nephew. What I'm talking about adaptations is adaptations of a TV show made into a big budget theatrical movie. the one that I would really like to see is a Futurama movie. Not a direct-to-DVD 4-episode special like Bender's Big Score and all those other movies. I mean a Futurama movie that actually goes to theaters, actually feels like a movie, and actually has really good animation and stakes. There are some stakes in the movies that were released in 2007, 2009 for season 5, but I'm talking about stakes that could actually build upon to the final movie that could be even more powerful than with those so movies. I honestly think that given the high quality animation that the Simpsons movie had, and getting a lot of the great Futurama writers to write a fantastic movie, sending it to theaters, I honestly think that it would be a box office smash, and it would bring Futurama to the place where it deserves to be. A lot of people do like Futurama, but I honestly feel like Futurama is still very underrated, and it's overshadowed by The Simpsons, but it could potentially be even better than The Simpsons movie, and could actually be among the great cinematic masterpieces. I'm just saying, it's possible. And it could represent what movies based off TV shows should be. A lot of movies based on cartoons feel like longer episodes. Now, sometimes they can feel like a movie, but they don't really feel, as good as a movie that's written on its own. Like the SpongeBob movie, the Simpsons movie, they are good, but, they're not my favorite. They don't leave an impact on me like Shrek or the Lego movie. Just like the Lego movie left an impact in animation and started a whole new genre of animated films, the Futurama movie could do the exact same thing the Lego movie did. Set a standard and start a genre of high quality, theatrically based movies on TV shows. I honestly see that. And I honestly think that it could happen. If only they put effort into it, heart, and they actually care about the script. So anyways, guys, those are my ideas for films that Hollywood should make, franchises that Hollywood should visit, and stop churning out the same crap, because they need to start getting creative, because, there are franchises that deserve to be revisited and deserve a chance to be brought back to the big screen, or to the big screen if they've never been on the big screen. These are dying to get a continuation or a remake in some sense. So I really hope to see these happen, and hopefully they'll stop making Mission Impossible sequels and, movies that are, continuing a franchise that isn't really doing anything creatively, but rather just, milking something until it's bone dry and nobody cares about it anymore. So I will see you guys later. Thank you for watching my video. It was kind of messy, but I think you understand where I'm coming from. Hollywood needs to think outside the box. And if they're gonna continue to do sequels, remakes, and adaptations, then they should do adaptations, sequels, and remakes worth making. See you guys later. Take care.